Welcome to EFT Nation, your home for all things tapping. For show notes and resources, please visit EFTtappingtraining.com. We are your tapping hosts. I'm Alina Frank.
And I'm Craig Wiener. The information provided in this podcast is not a substitute for counseling or medical advice. The information presented here is meant to inspire and educate listeners, but are not guarantees of any kind.
All right, welcome to another EFT Nation, and today we're going to talk about how to use EFT for changing habits. It's something that people tend to look at the beginning of the year. We have a couple of great programs that are going to help you to do this. If you want to go to community.efttappingtraining.com, we're going to start a 23-day
Tapping challenge.
Yeah.
23 for 2023. We had an amazing one last year.
We did.
There were hundreds and hundreds of people that were tapping, and you get daily tips every day. Either it's a live person leading live tapping,
we have
working
lots
with
of
individuals,
live tapping, yeah.
Other kinds of tips, and even non-EFT tips that really can help to regulate and provide calming and a variety of other resources.
Yep. So if you really want a deep dive and learn how to do EFT properly,
for yourself,
please go check it out. It's all free and it's over on our community page. And then the other thing that we have for what you want to do at the beginning of the year is set intentions and manifest. And so we have a program that we've run for over 10 years now called Ready, Set, Manifest. Mm-hmm. And if you're repeating, you got a special discount. Go to EFTtappingtraining.com and you'll see in the events page where to sign up as either a repeater or if you're brand new. We'd love to have you in there manifesting, teaching you how to use EFT effectively. And it's a really wonderful process. We've used it for many things.
Big projects for like a year-long not necessarily a year-long project, but like, what do you most want to bring in 2023?
Exactly.
We've used it for creating a new home, for a book, for a film.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of different things that we've created over the years, and lots of support there. So, but let's talk about, as we start moving into the new year, it's a time where, as you said, people reflect and they start thinking about what they want to be different in their lives, either less of something or not of something or more of something, and somehow, changing the habit of being themselves in some way, changing something in their life. And so, when you start to look at what are the reasons that people that want to have a new habit but fail, like where are a lot of the problematic areas. And, one of them that I always see, we'll go over a bunch of tips, but I just kind of want to look at first, why, when people set the intention, don't they achieve it?
Right.
And one of the things often that they do is they overwhelm themselves.
What do you
by
mean?
trying to create too much change too quickly or too big a change too quickly. And they set themselves up for failure. And then when they, when there's a wall in the road or a ding or they fail for a day or something, it just all falls apart. So one of the things is that they overwhelm themselves, especially when it's something that there's not a lot of joy about. Right?
So if you're wanting to, let's say, participate in dry January and you want to quit completely, if you don't have enough enthusiasm about it, and just you want to go from drinking like, I don't know, a fifth of alcohol a day, let's say the extreme, to zero, could that be like the sense of overwhelm? And there's no joy in that. It's just all sheer pain.
And sacrifice. So
it's not likely that you're going to succeed.
Yeah. What other good things are you bringing into your life to maybe take its place? Or what else? What is the joy that's coming from that change? So that's one. Another one is the distractions that happen in life, right? We set our intention to exercise or to change our relationship with food or whatever it is.
Right, and then your friend calls you to a big party where
exactly,
it's all
right?
All this food that you are trying to stay away from, and all the sugar.
And sometimes they're mild distractions, like a night out, and other times they're big things that show up in your life, and we'll talk more about those. So 2 is distractions. 3, that there's the sense of I don't have enough willpower, right, to make the change, to see it through, or I'm trying to take on. It requires more willpower than I feel like I have, like I thought I had it. And, of course, willpower can be an illusion of, how resourced I'm feeling at any one time. So there's no like, you can't like check your willpower tank like for an accurate reading.
No, and that's so hard. I mean, I think that there needs to be more than willpower. People think like they beat themselves up because they don't have the willpower. You hear that all the time. Oh, I just didn't have the willpower.
Yep.
I think it goes much deeper than that. I think we can really align with our inner motivation in order to help us with that. Because I just think willpower alone on a conscious level isn't going to be enough.
Yeah, and sometimes I mean, what's beautiful with the tapping is it's more than, it's like there are multiple tanks, right? And one of them has some motivation or inspiration. Another one has kind of our willpower and our ability to put something into place that we may not feel totally like we want to do right now. And then there's certainly going to be the tapping part for what comes up around those things.
Right.
The fourth thing is, often perceived as real, and is real, it is actual in some ways, is a lack of time.
Right.
Okay, I want to devote 2 hours a day to this, and right now my day is already full and with commitments, and literally to add 2 hours means I'm going to have to be up till 1 a.m. So, and that's not healthy or balanced either, depending on your own time schedule. So these are all issues that often come up as the most common reasons that people fail to build
or at least why they
new
say
habits.
Why they say.
Well, they're the reasons, right? That people claim or feel is why they're failing in building a new habit.
And I would say that some of these are really subjective because
I'd say all of them are subjective to some extent.
Right, because lack of time, isn't it interesting how you still get to still manage to, let's say, watch videos or a screen 3 hours a night or something like that.
Yeah,
you
there's
still
time.
have time
There's
for
time
that.
to watch Yellowstone, or there's time to watch the greatest baking show, or whatever you're watching. But you don't have time to meditate or whatever. So
yep.
So we want to go over some tips.
Yeah, let's do that.
Both tapping and non-tapping, right? So,
okay.
So one of them would be, like we were saying, choose one habit at a time to change.
So that it's not overwhelming.
Right, because any one habit can have so many different connections in and of itself. We'll be talking about some of those. So don't try to do too many things at once. So for example, somebody looking to get healthy in the new year or to lose weight or whatever, don't take on your exercise habit, if you haven't been exercising, and what you're eating and when you're not. I mean, there's so many different aspects that can come just with that.
I'm going to meditate 5 days a week. I'm going to go yoga 5 days a week. I'm going to change my whole eating from to strictly
gluten-free, vegan, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, and
I'm not going to eat after 6 o'clock. I'm only going to have desserts only on the week. Choose one at a time, build some success with that, and then add another.
Right. And when it comes to, I think also, when we think about New Year's and especially goals, it is really important to narrow it down to one area of your life. You can't just say, I'm going to just change this and that and my relationships and my work and my money and because you will lose the momentum when you just when you have it scattered, when your energy is scattered, versus seeing these small and then bigger successes in one area of your life, which will motivate you to keep going.
Yep. So with tapping,
yes,
right? I mean, there are a variety of ways to use that. First, one of the things I was thinking of is, but I need to get healthy and I need to get financially more stable. I mean, I need to, these are things I need to change in my life, right? And you're telling me, or we're telling you, to choose one, but you're feeling like, but I really need to do all of these or many of these. So you might start tapping on the shoulds of I should be handling this and that, and I feel guilty because I'm behind in these 3 areas. I haven't set enough money aside in my IRA. I need to do this, whatever they
there's shame,
are. There's shame and embarrassment and guilt and frustration. So tapping to help get rid of that is in getting to a place of, look, I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
I'm making forward progress with this one thing. As I build on that, I'll add to another. And being okay with that and aligned with that can be really helpful to use tapping for.
Right. Next next tip?
Yeah. So the next tip is, we all know that when we feel supported, we're more likely to succeed.
Right.
But we all have different challenges of feeling a lack of support. interpersonal support, whether it's with our partner or family or kids or whatever.
Or doing the challenge, right? Like we're going to do the tapping challenge would bring
Yeah,
you
but
support.
that is support.
Yeah,
right.
would bring
So
you
in other
support.
words, start to consider, how can I set up some support in advance and letting people know I'm going to make this change.
Right.
I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start cleaning out the fridge. I'm going to start setting aside and getting up earlier in the morning. I'm going to start
Just a little bit of accountability.
Yeah, and asking for that support. But guess what that's going to bring up?
Oh yeah.
Probably feelings of they're not going to support me,
Right.
or worry that they're not going to keep supporting me.
They haven't before. They
Right.
they didn't. I thought they were going to be there for me
Mm-hmm.
when I did this, and they weren't. So all of those you can tap on.
Right, and like I'm trying to do this by keeping this in the fridge or in the pantry, and they're bringing in that. And how frustrating is that? Because that's their life; they get to do what they want, but it really feels unsupportive, disrespectful, whatever that is that I'm feeling, and tapping on that. So because the focus is me doing on what I want to do, what I need to do. So so tapping on the challenges to feeling not supported.
Right.
That's another one.
All right, next is a tip about your environment, because I know oftentimes it's your environment that's going to bring you down. For example, if you are, again, going back to, like, for example, alcohol, could you really get sober when you're, like, let's say, a bartender working in a bar? That would be
Possible, but
very,
difficult.
very difficult.
Sure.
So why not set yourself up for success? And so tapping on feelings related to not having enough
Like your environment, so time in your day, or having too many responsibilities,
or saying no, being able to have strong boundaries. No, I cannot go to that party. And when you're in the first week of sobriety, you're going to be challenged. All your friends are going to be egging you on to take a shot or have a drink, and you want to be able to say no, tapping on what do I feel when I think about saying no, when I think about excusing myself, when after dinner people are still lounging around really hard drinking now, refusing to go to, or saying no thanks to any kind of social commitment that is gonna create the environment that's not conducive to supporting your sobriety, for example.
And what do you need to change at work with your environment that you're set up at work?
Right.
How about where you're living or how you're living? I mean, there's so many different ways to start to look at how your environment can be set up to support the changes you want, and tapping on the stressors about making those changes.
Right. I mean, you mentioned time. People say that it's time. And so how might you set up your day? What do you need to be able to set? What systems do you need to have in your day so that you have an extra hour every day, or an extra 20 minutes to work out, or to be able to do the things that you want to do to move you forward? Finding ways to do that can really help you, because your environment is going to be a big factor in whether you succeed or not.
I mean, let's say that you're setting up, whether it's a tapping or meditation or Tai Chi, yoga, whatever practice it is, that maybe your day is really committed. You got a family of kids, etc. And it might mean first having to reduce what it is you're getting in those 30 minutes of TikToking, or whatever it is that you're doing, that maybe you're needing to make a change, and letting go of whatever that other commitment is, or time expenditure, distraction that
which
you're
goes
using.
to the next one.
Yeah. So other things can happen. So number 4 would be have a plan in place. What happens when there are distractions or crises or life changes? So in other words, somebody gets sick in your house. You're working on this particular habit you're trying to do, but now somebody needs a lot more of your time or attention. Mom or dad got sick and moved into the house for a period of time. Something can show up, right? And what happens for many people is that once they break that habit, I've been doing this for 2 weeks and I'm on track, and all of a sudden I got distracted by this trip away, this visiting family member, this challenge deadline at work, or whatever. And very often it's, all right, how do I tap on that and being okay with that while it's happening? Because it does need my attention.
Right.
It is somewhat out of my control in some ways that this happened. And yet I can still go ahead and either maybe alter the habit and make it less time during the day that I need to spend to it during this period of time that I'm having to spend it, and be okay with it because I needed to adapt. And that really leads into the fifth one is, how do we avoid when we hit a wall or hit a challenge or an obstacle of not just going, screw it, I'm done, give it up, right? And that I fell off the wagon, whether it be alcohol or exercise or financial saving or whatever it is. How do I tap on being able to, the shame I feel, the whatever it is I'm feeling about that. But what the real key tip that I want to say is the tendency to just drop out often will have a connection to when it happened earlier. So in other words, what does that mean? So I mean, when you start to feel, let's just say, oh, I give up because I'm just not meant to lose the weight. I'm just, I don't have the willpower to. Often it'll connect to a belief and a very strong emotion and feeling about why I can't continue or get back on the horse. And often what we can start to look to is earlier times in our life when the same thing happened. When I tried to establish some new habit in my life and I failed at that one. And it's almost like the burden and the weight of that one is carrying to this one. And see, you really can't do that. See, you don't have the willpower to do that. See, you're not going to be able to really succeed again about saving that much or losing that weight or whatever it is. And whether you're able to work on it yourself or with a practitioner, starting to clear the way of the past. So it creates a larger open frame for the current situation where you can be more compassionate with yourself, where you can be more, okay, so I had to set it aside for that 2 weeks, getting right back on the wagon again. And, when we start, another thing that we've often talked about before is different ways of looking at this habit stacking. Like if I'm trying to do something new, how can I build on something I've already done? And how do I take baby steps and then build on that? If I'm already taking my dog for a walk each day, okay, can I do that and then go ahead and maybe also add some exercise time in addition right onto that? Because it's already a habit I have. If I'm already have a prayer time, can I go ahead and add an additional 10 minutes of meditation? How do I kind of stack or overlay things I'm doing and build on small wins that can get bigger? So I can go from baby steps to larger steps to bigger leaps and grow on that, as opposed to just starting something. It's harder to start from a blank piece of paper, and better to make a small step first and build on that than try to jump too fast, too quick.
So I also want to say something that's really not on our list here, but as you were talking, I was thinking about was the idea that doing anything to help us clear the negative experiences from our past actually help us be able to be the kind of person that embodies those new habits. So maybe the drinking and the obsession with lots of media, social media addiction and eating too much and lack of exercise and putting yourself last all have to do with the events of your past that have told you that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, that you are weak, that you can't do it, that you're not allowed to have time for yourself. And so that becomes important, our own personal history. And that's what we're going to focus on with the 23-day challenge. So I hope you go over to community.efttappingtraining.com and look for it starting on January 1st. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to get lots
23 days for 2023.
23 days. Let's kick it into gear in 2023.
And you know what? Developing that habit over 23 days of having continual tapping allows you to really, it just gives you such a jump start and allows you to accelerate so much progress so quickly. It was really amazing last year, the stories that we heard from people.
Hope to see you there.
See you there. Thanks for joining us today at EFT Nation. And remember that you can find show notes and previous episodes at EFTtappingtraining.com.